Today's session is a front squat max, or close to a max, like it's a heavy single. So I front squat 190, and then it's just some accessory movements afterwards and some treadmill repeats. The regular viewers of the channel will know that this training is like going towards a 500 pound back squat and a 5-minute mile in the same day. This training cycle was going excellently up until the end of July last year, when I had a bit of a hiccup on some squats. So it's back in now. I've kind of gone through the main capacity phase. What you're looking at now is getting towards the end of the squatting phase. So I'm around a month and a half ahead of schedule with the squat. So the squat is coming along very, very well, or more likely the running isn't coming along too well. So what you're seeing here is like I've transferred over to some front squat. The back squat is like 230 kilos, or just less than 230 kilos. So that's pretty much in the bag at the moment, or it's within a few weeks. This is the last week in January, first week in February. So I'm just concentrating on front squats for the moment. I'm going to front squat 200 kilos in the next few weeks. So just kind of made that an intermediary goal, so I don't kind of waste too much time, where I don't push my back squat. Like maintaining the back squat's going to be quite difficult as well with the amount of running I'm doing. At the moment, the running sessions are kind of mixture between 1k repeats, 400 meter repeats out on the road, and then on like shitty days like this it's just like I just do some treadmill repeats. So the treadmill repeats aren't very transferable, but what they are allowing me to do is like build some capacity. They're also allowing me to just get some fitness back. So it's been probably 7 years since I actually did some proper fitness work. It's just been a lot of lifting in the meantime since I kind of stopped playing sport. So what you're seeing here is the warm-up. Warm-up starts with like general movement stuff, usually some like 5-10 minutes on a treadmill, then just body weight exercises. So like you'll see front foot raise, split squats are usually in there, some squats, some presses, and just the basics. So I'll leave this with you now. I hope you enjoy the next bit of watching. So standard kind of warm-up protocols here. It's like usually 60 or 70 kilos for a few reps, 110 for a few reps. Usually I'll put on my shoes then and go to 150 or 160, do a rep or two there, and then build from there. So I think this day I went 70, 110, 160, 180, 190. And just tried not to waste too much time, but just spend more time doing an actual proper warm-up, like an aerobic warm-up, making sure I'm able to move rather than spending a lot of time doing sets with the actual exercise. So these are just normal SBD knee sleeves. They're like size XL. So they're pretty loose. Like I have a size of large as well, that if I was going for like super heavy squats, or in competition last year, wore larges and they're a lot tighter. These go on before 160. They go on at 160. I usually don't put them on beforehand. Same for weightlifting shoes. Just trying to get some practice and kind of maintain a bit of strength in my feet, and help with mobility and things like that. 160, very, very easy. 160 tends to be the weight on the front squats for me where I know if it's going to be a good day or a bad day, based on how 160 feels. Usually, if 160 feels bad, it's going to be a terrible session. This is 180. So 180 actually felt very, very bad. I was going to go for 200 on the single, but just that thing with front squats, if you kind of misgroove them or you unrack the bar poorly, it will feel absolutely terrible. That was a classic case of this. So I unracked 180, it went badly, and then put on 190 afterwards, and this is 190 for a single. So not the cleanest rep, but I'm still pretty happy with it. 185 is like an all-time PB. Probably 7 or 8 kilos lighter than I was the last time I hit that. It was definitely well over 110. Afterwards, it's just some accessory work, so like bodybuilding work. The reason I'm doing like upper back and shoulder work here is just purely for like maintenance of posture while running. So one of the main things that starts to break down when I'm running, because I'm like 106 kilos, tends to be my ability to maintain my upper back posture, then to get very rounded forward, that affects my breathing. So this is just some really basic bodybuilding stuff, some shoulder stability stuff, some javelin press, rear delt flies. This would be very, very common in my training at the moment. The shoes I use for all the running are those Innovates. We did a review on them, so you can find that review on the channel. They're really, really good shoes if you're just starting running or getting back into run training, though they do take a bit of time to get used to. So just a word of warning on that, that you can't just throw them on and go running. You will have to do some accommodation work with your feet especially, and your ankles. The treadmill is under savage pressure. But yeah, so it gets a beating like this a few times a week. Look, this doesn't transfer over perfectly to running, definitely not to running a 5-minute mile, but it does just allow me to build some capacity. I'm in terrible shape at the moment, so just more work is better. These repeats are, so it says at 12 miles an hour. I think these might have been at 12.5 miles an hour on the treadmill. I don't think that calibration is too correct. That's pretty much as fast as the treadmill goes, and it's just on a bit of an angle. So I just do these 1 minute on, 1 minute off, somewhere between 5 and 10 rounds. I think this day I did 7 or 8 rounds. I think I have 5 shown here. And yeah, they're very, very simple. Like the advantage of the treadmill is that constant pacing. It's also a disadvantage that you don't kind of work on your pacing then, but it just forces you to work a certain amount. And it's definitely a very, very easy way of getting volume in. So I hope you enjoyed the training vlog. If someone has a good way of me videoing actual running sessions outside, please do let me know, because at the moment videoing running sessions is almost impossible, and especially because it's winter down here at the moment. Videoing dark sessions at night outside is even harder. So if you do have any ideas or suggestions, pop them down in the comments. Thanks for watching.